You either spent last night hurling your shoes at the TV, or you woke today blissfully refreshed because you ignored Ramajeli deliver a whole bunch of porkies, half-truths, promises, and someone called Swallow. Either way, it's Friday, and this is the week that was. I'm Simon Brown. My co-host is Giulietta Talevi. Joining us for our weekly rant are Sasfin Securities' David Shapiro, Vestact's Bright Khumalo. In my case, I got load shed, but we'll get to that later. S&P 5,000 points.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah. And it's going to keep going.
Where's your 5,000 cap?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Keep going, you know. And I was just talking to Simon before we came in here. I said, I listened to the man from ARM, A-R-M, you know, this is a brilliant business. I listened to Palantir. And you see,
those guys are too smart for their own good.
Yeah, I know,
but ARM I trust.
I don't care. What they're telling you is just how much business is going into AI.
I'm up 48% in a day.
Yeah.
One day from...
Guess who bought them on the listing?
I know.
Yes,
Did you?
Yes, he did. No, he told us last year. I know.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
Yes,
but surely these... I don't know. The conservative data in me says you can't have things that ratchet up 48% in one day and then it's all sustainable and you build a different base. It's going to come thudding back to earth.
No, you know what? Listen to the CEOs. I was listening to the Novo Nordisk CEO. You know, and I don't think these are the Danes are really exuberant like like Dutch. And when he tells you how much Wegovy, I hope that's the way you pronounce it, is being demanded in Europe, and that it's a good investment, and you know how well they're doing. You got to listen to these chaps. You know, it's not for the conservative person in your soul or whatever it is.
Or the doubting Thomas.
The doubting Thomas. I listen to the CEO, and if the CEO tells you what sales they're doing, I'm going to believe that.
But there was a report out, and now I can't remember who it came from. One of the American investment houses, looking from 2019 to now, in that Mag 7, excluding Tesla, the growth has been supported by share price growth supported by earnings.
Yes.
Earnings are
that's the problem. So don't get vertigo.
You mean not the problem?
It's not the earnings are there and cash is there. And these are strong companies who are using that cash to reinvest all the time. They're only going to get stronger. So scrap the BTIs, the British American Tobaccos, and the booze companies, and just buy these.
Follow demand. I think... I mean, with all of that said, all of these drugs you're speaking about from Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk, they can't produce enough. I mean, they only sold 172 million on Eli Lilly's side in terms of the weight loss drugs.
And that's what you look like when you take them, you see.
She goes to the gym.
Not me, never.
There's a fair amount of natural genetics there that none of us at this table are going to
see her
attack.
parents? I mean, she came with an advantage.
So demand is there and they can't produce enough of this stuff. Same thing with AI chips, hence why everyone is excited at ARM, because they're diversifying into these data center chips.
They design the chips.
But aside from, the Novo Nordisk, which as you say is a Danish company, is all the money just going to carry on going to the S&P 500? Is that the only game in town?
Yes, that's the only game in town.
When did the stock market start there? 1890. Since then, I mean, it's only been going there.
I mean, I should swap my Dow 10,000 hat for S&P 10,000.
Yes, let's get some caps printed.
You're swapping for 10,000. Let's go.
We can also get a little make the JSE great again cap.
I need that one because the JSE 100K is not working out.
Also making news this week, it's Frost Nixon all over again as Tucker Carlson has a sit down with Vlad. Multi-choice says no, but we can't see Canal Plus folding. China's got the deflation blues. There's a please call me that Vodacom really doesn't want. We've got a Grammy winner on our hands and a team of plucky semi-finalists too. The mining indaba has come and gone. The updates from corporate South Africa make for more than a little distressing reading, and it was perhaps more than a little fitting that the presidential blow-up doll's windy delivery was followed swiftly by some stage 4 load shedding. Oh, Cyril, you smug, self-satisfied squirrel, you didn't disappoint.
Tinswalo, and many others born at the same time as her were beneficiaries of the first policies of the democratic state to provide free health care for pregnant women and children under the age of 6. Tinswalo's formative years were spent in a house provided by the state, one of millions of houses built to shelter the poor.
Etc., etc., etc. It carried on. But you know, the promised land is right around the corner.
Over the last 2 years, the number of jobs being created has been increasing every quarter, and we now have more people in employment than before the pandemic. Yet, our unemployment rate is the highest it has ever been. Even as employment is growing, more people are entering the job market each year than jobs are being created. We have laid a foundation for growth through far-reaching economic reforms that we have embarked upon.
And more of the same.
I've decided to, take from the ANC's playbook and be very selfish for the next 10 years. So that includes not watching useless things like the SONA.
Well, apparently neither of you watched it. So he went on the story about Sinswala, and it's a great story about this young girl born in '94 and aided by the state all the way through. But he makes a mistake. He says her and many others. It's the many others that's not true. If we had millions and millions and millions of Tinswalos, we would be an amazing country. Their story of better life for all, remember that as electioneering slogan? That hasn't happened. So he can pick to one girl who's now 30. Unfortunately, there are 60 million who are not.
Well, as someone said on Twitter, you've chosen to illustrate an imaginary person to demonstrate your imaginary achievements. I mean, that's really...
I think a sobering thought come when the Minister of Finance presents the budget.
Well,
that's the cash book. That's the cash book. And what it shows you is just how difficult things are here. And the debt, and there's a lot of debt that's not going to appear on that, which we could add, which is in Transnet, which is in all the SOEs, which is in all the municipalities and so on, which they're responsible for. So I'm saying this, when we see what the budget is, I think you're going to get a completely different picture to what was painted last night. That's real.
Yeah. Well, you called it the bullshit state of the nation.
Well, I said, when I opened this morning in Business Day and I saw Amplatz, Implatz, Curo, ArcelorMittal, which one did I miss out there? Kumba. And I read all those stories as well as our manufacturing. That's sobering. That's very, very difficult.
This is what the current government doesn't understand. Every state needs tax income. Yeah. And tax income comes from successful businesses that are profitable. You don't pay tax if you're not profitable. Yeah. So if they did everything it took to make sure that businesses were profitable in South Africa, and doing business in South Africa was easy, and electricity work, it'll be very easy for
we would be in a totally different...
increase the tax income. I mean,
Ivor Vestact actually, because Cyril Ramaphosa talked about how the size of the economy is 3 times bigger than it was in 1994, and Ivor Vestact went and had a look at the figures. It's 2.6 times bigger. The world economy is 3.6 times bigger. So we have
underperformed
behind, and
a much larger index, and we are called a growth nation,
exactly.
where the rest of the world is not.
Well, we are a sinking market then if we're not emerging, right?
But the other point is that there was universal disdain actually for Cyril, and I think it's a tragedy that he had so much goodwill when he came in with his first State of the Nation address, when he had just basically come in. Jacob Zuma had been shown the door. It was the Tumamina New Dawn. I don't think there was one person who didn't want to help him and help the country out of the fix, and he has squandered it.
I don't think he had the energy. He'd made billions, and I'm not saying millions. He's made billions in his own personal right. And that's also a story and a half. I think a lot of that era, a lot of those people who made the money easy have lost their industriousness. They've lost their energy. They've lost really the will to build the country. I don't think it's there. That's what concerns me more than anything else. You haven't got the Brights, but you can feel the energy sitting next to Bright, what he wants to do, and you find a lot of young people, and these are not, no, I mean it. You know what I'm saying to you? There are so many young people that want to do things, and they're just being held back by this old-style government that is still stuck in the comrade era in the 60s.
Some even argue and say, they were never really industrious because they were just names that were put there to own 30% of businesses.
Well, and it was
and
also
did absolutely nothing and learned nothing in that period.
I think what Ramaphosa discovered,
And now it's showing actually.
not to take, you're 100% right, this is you, Giulietta, but what he discovered was, I think, the level of corruption and rottenness in the ANC, I think, staggered him.
He was there.
It is rotten to the core. Yeah,
But he
was
knew
there.
that already.
Come on, you-
Sorry,
table.
he knew that already.
he
He thought he could attack it, but he failed.
No, but he failed. Why? Because it is
It's
now
entrenched in their DNA.
It
Like
is now in their DNA.
can't do
And-
anything
and
about that.
Even the director saying, move on from Tinswallow's dad. Cyril and his imaginary children.
Okay, there's one interview
Okay.
we'd rather watch right now. It's Tucker Carlson, Vladimir Putin special. Okay, truthfully, I couldn't care less for Tucker Carlson, but I don't know. Anyone watched it yet?
I hope he gets grabbed. The hell, man.
Well, he got thrown.
Tucker Carlson.
He got thrown under the bus by the Russian press secretary.
Exactly.
Who basically said, actually, we get lots of requests to Vladimir Putin, but we only let this sophomore from America come.
Sophomore.
And this is supposed to be his friend.
No, because there's currently a case where a reporter is offering a reporter for another jailed individual from
To swap him.
Russia. Yeah, they could just take Tucker Carlson.
But is this quite a sort of a savvy tool of the conservative Republicans?
No, I don't think that's what it is. What it is just Tucker Carlson being Tucker Carlson. He thinks the world revolves around
But I'm
him.
keen
He
on
thinks
your-
he's the man.
I'm keen on the savvy part of this because I don't see no savvy here.
Oh, come on,
I
there's
just
going to be a
think-
bit of savvy, even if you don't agree.
I mean, notwithstanding, MAGA love Putin, which is weird, but heck, I mean, each to their own, right?
And the war in Ukraine could be
I
over in a
think the
few
more-
weeks, says Vladimir, if America just stops supplying arms and Kiev just says, all right, come in.
Well, I think the problem we've got is with Biden and his memory
Oh.
and all these issues, you know. And I say, you think we've got problems? You think South Africa's
There's a
got
clip
problems?
doing the rounds of Biden talking about he means to refer to the Egyptian president, but he
Yes.
calls him the president of Mexico.
Yes.
It's don't want to watch it. Well, it wasn't all bad news this week, although to hear the politicians talk, they've somehow had something to do with both a Grammy and a jolly good football run. Sadly, the boys didn't quite make it, but well done to them nonetheless.
Football can be hard. When you see the performance of my team today, and then there is penalties, and then you lose the game, you're not in the final. It's hard to accept that because we played a very good game today. I think we were the best team the first half. We had the best chances. Nigeria didn't have one chance. No, nothing.
And we were a great team in the first half. Also penalties, man. It could. I mean, Williams. I mean, it could have gone the other way. We could be talking around the game this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, a lot of people here in this country have, written off soccer in general, not just the national team. Soccer as a sport, saying there's not enough support, there's not enough people who want to play it, people are not getting paid enough, hence there's no incentive to go into soccer in the first place, blah, blah, blah. Look, this shows you that with a bit of focus and the right parties involved, a lot could happen. I think this is the start of something big.
You've got to get Russie there, that's why. Hey, yeah. I thought they were pretty good. I thought that football here was very
That's the
well
most
done.
white old man
Yeah.
thing you've said today.
Sure.
After the break, the weekend companies and the pigeons are watching.